Hi, I'm Tyler,
I'm Kurt Biels.
and this is the Fox Valley Film Critics, the free comic book day special. We're here at the Hollywood Boulevard in Woodridge, Illinois, and we're going to be talking about 2 comic book movies. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the show, brought to you by Groupthink Productions, FVTV, and the Hollywood Boulevard. We already introduced you briefly. So,
Hey, hello, Internet.
so tell us a little about your experience in film and comic books then. So tell us your bona fides for being here.
Well, I mean, I went to film school. I worked for Curse Productions. I was a projectionist back when that was still a job. I worked as a comic book store clerk and then assistant manager at a comic book store. I've grown up watching movies and comic books, so it's been my profession, my passion, and all that jazz. So.
Sure. And today is Saturday is Free Comic Book Day.
Correct.
Which is our annual, I guess.
It's like this. It's the Super Bowl for comic book stores, basically. Like everyone goes there because free brings everyone to the woodwork.
Yes, free. And I like to celebrate because it gives us an opportunity to kind of go into some really odd, obscure territory of
Totally.
comic book movies. Because obviously, everyone sees the Marvel movies and Batman movies nowadays, but everything kind of farther back tends to be a little more obscure, a little more harder to watch.
Exactly. Well, back in the day, they weren't as concerned about being faithful. They're like, oh, it's comics, no one cares. Now they really care about the canon. Like, do they wear an orange belt? They better have an orange belt in the movie. Like, before they're like, I don't care if they have 2 arms or 1 arm, but like, what? There is an 8-armed character. Like, you don't even care if you're like missing the big plot points back in the day.
And the movies we picked, I think was I did notice a bit of a line. These are both post-Batman '89 movies.
Yeah.
So they both had that kind of weirdness that comes with a lot of these movies. So it's very weird production design and very weird stuff. And we're starting with your pick, Mystery Men.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies.
Goodness only knows why, but...
Like, that's the only theatrical movie that Kinka Usher did, and I wish he would have done more work.
Okay, who's that?
He's the director of this movie.
Oh, that's a shame.
So, like, if you look at IMDb, his only credits afterwards are like some commercial work for Volvo. Like, I think this, like, I mean, filming a movie's like, like planning a war, and like maybe just, he figured it wasn't for him, or maybe he had a bad experience, or. I mean, the movie didn't do well box office-wise, but.
Yeah, I can only imagine why. But my first introduction to Mystery Men was tangentially through Flaming Carrot. My father is a Flaming Carrot fan, and he was in the 80s. And a couple of years ago for Christmas, I got him a framed issue of Flaming Carrot, I Cloned Hitler's Feet. And and I made him put it on the wall. And
there you go. Over the mantle.
Yes.
Move away, family photo.
Exactly.
That can go in the drawer.
But yeah, I never saw the movie until just now.
Oh, nice.
And I was fascinated by a great deal of it because it definitely has a lot of those weird 90s isms to it, where the first shot of the film, I swear to bleep, it was it looked like Batman the Animated Series because just the noir atmosphere and the police blimps.
Yeah.
And what the heck am I watching?
The movie totally on purpose lampoons the Schumacher Batmans with like them sewing their own costumes to look cooler at the end, and like the putting on the costumes and the crazy like you said, like Art Deco, like big like design of the city. Like you can tell it's within a fun way, like lampooning those Schumacher Batmans that went a little too far.
Yeah,
like,
someone called up the Hudsucker proxy guys. It's like, hey, we're you can get done with that, or can we borrow that?
But then your cast, you got like musicians like Praz and Tom Waits, you got all these character actors, all these comedians, like Eddie Izzard, you got like William H. Macy, you got like a murderer's row of like awesome talent that like all came together to do like a superhero movie, which is I think is fantastic.
This is 1999, so this was like the year before X-Men.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Like, I don't know, I think this movie's a gem. Like, it's instantly quotable. Like, we're number 1, everyone else is number 2 or worse. And just like, there's just a lot of great witty banter. And the movie's structured so well, in my opinion. Like, every time they set something up, it gets paid off later. Like, oh, you ever heard of the Sphinx? Never heard of that guy. Oh, he can cut guns with his brain, with his mind. Cut to like an hour later, they get saved and all the guns get cut by the Sphinx. Like they set it up and they knock it down later. I think there's a great job of that.
I know my dad's always very fond of one of the William H. Macy lines, but I forget which one it is.
Oh, is it, we have a blind date with Destiny and she just ordered the lobster? Because that line is fantastic.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
That, and his speech is actually motivating. The one where he's like, should I eat this sandwich? Or she's like, we're probably gonna die, but like, the right thing to do is to try to save the city. Like, that's, I mean, it's not saying Crispin's Day, but it's like, I think it's a really, really good, rousing, like, we're gonna, you know, we're the underdogs, but we're the only one the city has because Captain Macy's gone.
Yeah, I mean, are we spoiling the movie? I mean,
Oh, I thought, like, from your other ones, you actually go in depth, or do you want to, like, try to, okay. Okay.
If you are caring a lot about Mystery Men spoilers.
Spoilers.
Yeah, for some reason. Captain Amazing,
Yeah.
he's kind of the villain-ish because he instigates the plot because he's like a bravado-driven superhero, and he wants to release a villain that's capable of fighting him, and he accidentally releases one that in long term inadvertently gets him killed.
Yeah, like, you're right. He puts people's lives in jeopardy because he wants to make money, and which is a villainous thing. Though in the movie he's a hero, but he's a jerk. Like,
yes, and I will say his death scene, I was not expecting.
See, I've seen this so many times. It's hard for me to like.
Yeah,
I've seen this movie like so many times.
All
It's
the
like,
glories of early '90s CGI. The Mystery Men are arguing over how they're supposed to save him, and they can't figure out which order to turn the buttons off. And because they do it in the wrong order, he's like disintegrated and then like torn apart on a molecular level. And then all that's left is like this horrifying Men in Black-esque body horror monster. That's
yeah, like David Cronenberg type movie kind of thing.
A Cronenberg-esque thing. It's just like this thing it wants to be killed.
But it's his own hubris because like they ask him like, wait, did you want the toggle or not the toggle? And no, everyone really should check it out. I think it's such a good movie, and it's weird to go back in the Wayback Machine before superhero movies had the big budget, and like we expect these big like cool like $100 million thing, like huge choreographed fight scenes. When here it's like they're keying a car with a fork. Like that's the middle fight scene. Like they vandalize a car. That's your middle. Like the movie. Like I mean, it's a big budget movie, but you don't have that spectacle that like we even have like lower to mid budget superhero movies nowadays would have.
Yeah, I mean that was a weird thing about '90s superhero movies because they were all post Batman, so they all had this. They're all very like stagey and claustrophobic, and you can tell they're being done on a sound stage 90% of the time. And
well, I do think I really like the design of this. That it's a little timeless. That you're like the 1950s like diner and the cool kind of like TV like machine
it
things.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of like, but it is still modern day because like there's a computer in it and stuff. Like because you know Kel Mitchell's character, Invisible Boy, he actually does use the internet. So it is at least modern day 90s, but there's so much 50s retro stuff in the city.
It's got that
Batman animated series
exactly.
kind of thing. Yeah,
it's half Art Deco 50s and half like futurist.
Yeah.
Technology.
Yeah.
So it does have that kind of midway point where it's the two things.
Yeah.
But
Shoveler's house is definitely like kind of 50s with like the pink flamingos and all that jazz.
exactly. It does. I don't know if that makes the movie timeless, but it definitely.
I think so, but
that you're biased.
I'm biased.
You're
yes.
biased in this.
I'm a Mystery Men mark, yeah. So.
Have you caught the Michael Bay cameo in the?
No, I didn't. Like,
yeah, Michael Bay's in this. He has a brief cameo as a jock during the.
The superhero tryout.
I think it's the villain tryout because he's playing one of the. It's when all the villains are in the room.
He's the one that's about the brewskis. Is he one of the evil frat boys?
Yeah. He's
oh my God, that is him. That's awesome. I mean, I knew the Dane Cook cameo was like the waffler, but like.
I didn't catch the Dane Cook.
Dane Cook's the waffler in the superhero tryout.
Man, people like nowadays are like dying to get into Avengers movies. This is like star-studded. It's like everyone must be in Mystery Men.
Well, like CeeLo Green's in it as one of the evil rappers, and again, the villain, like when all the villains come together to Casanova Frankenstein's house.
That's just bizarre.
And then I also was noticing that Casanova's girlfriend has the Harley Quinn origin story, but I don't know timeline-wise if that was before or after Harley in the animated series, because it's a well-respected psychiatrist.
It would have been
at,
after, but
it was a well-respected psychiatrist at a prison who then turns evil to join the villain that like she fell in love with.
And there's also
I mean, it's around the same. It's in that window. It's in that same. You know.
I'm also forced to question whether or not the screenwriter of this was watching Batman the animated series. So.
Well, yeah, you can definitely tell all the influences of the, like what was popular.
Oh, you can it's definitely aping off that a lot. But,
yeah.
I mean, performance-wise, who do you think's the best?
Everyone's great. Like, William H. Macy just brings so much soul to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd say him or again, Ben Stiller is kind of your linchpin character, like his dealing with his anger, and like he's almost like an outsider of the team because he's prickly.
This was William H. This is like in his renaissance when he was in Jurassic Park 3 and all these amazing 90s action movies.
Could Carmine the Bowler be the MVP who doesn't even talk? The bowling ball of Gene Garofalo's dad's head that like... He's again, it's similar to Doctor Strange's cloak. It's an inanimate object that like you put feelings on when like she'll constantly talk to it and be like, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends, and you don't know what he's saying, but you just infer what he's,
I'm willing to accept that as an answer.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, the one thing I didn't know about this movie that I found out when rewatching it because I watched the special features was they did one of my favorite things in cinema when they do a song or a rap about the logistics of the movie. There's like on the bonus features, Kel Mitchell does a rap called "Who Are These Mystery Men?" and it's like in Deep Blue Sea, LL Cool J has the song, or like whenever they do a song about like here's what the movie's about, I just love it. And it's deeper in the credits after Smash Mouth, so I never watched the credits far enough to know past Smash Mouth that So I know I'd be
this is pre-irony Smash Mouth.
Yeah, exactly, like it's Smash Mouth. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't really need to watch because there's no stingers at the end, except for at the end it does say. Champion City's favorite Dockers are the official khakis at Champion City if you make it to the bitter end, because I did this time, because I figured I would be a completist for
Okay, just to waste a minute, I do have a good Smash Mouth story since this is Fox Valley.
Okay.
They did come to Aurora a couple of years ago, or Oswego.
Okay.
And they performed and they got drunk on stage.
Oh, God.
And they just started screaming how much they want to see their girlfriend, and half the audience was dressed as Shrek. So
oh my God.
and then they played, and then everyone left. They played their one title song, and everyone left. But that's all the time we have for this segment. Join us for the next segment. We'll be talking about my movie. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Does this help at all?
Anything helps, ma'am. Just try to get some sleep now.
I can't sleep.
Yeah, me neither. I'm on my way.
Good coffee, huh?
Oh my God! What are you doing in my apartment?
Hello, and welcome back to the show. One down. Time for the next one. All right, so 1990s Captain America.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I made you watch this. But
I actually own it now.
I apologize.
It's all right.
But it's timely because Infinity War just came out.
Yeah.
And I've seen this a couple times, and I happen to like it even though it's a really bad movie.
I would agree with that. Like, it's a bad movie, but it's a fun movie. I did enjoy watching it.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of weird facts about it that I happen to like. Like the lead character is Matt Selinger, who's the son of J.D. Salinger, who wrote Catcher on the Rye, which is really weird. And he also played one of the jocks in Revenge of the Nerds. Not the jock,
but like,
a
yeah.
jock.
Yeah.
He's famous for his charisma as such.
Did you notice the Senator Kirby line?
His reference to Jack
Kirby. Yeah. Like when they're doing the procedure, they mentioned Senator Kirby is showing up. It's like, oh, nice. Like.
Yes, I do appreciate how much this comes from that weird, the pre-Marvel Cinematic Universe line where they didn't connect the movies, but occasionally they would reference other things.
Yeah.
Like so in Spider-Man 2, they'll reference Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And in this, they reference both Human Torch and Namor.
Yes, exactly. When they're with the kids, with Tom and Sam as kids.
Yeah, which is. It's fun, but that it would never make the Namor movie based on this because it was the lovely Canon Films who are responsible for every bad Stallone movie, every single one of the Charles Bronson Death Wish sequels, And
The Break-In movies?
the Break-In, including
love the Break-Ins.
Break-In 2, Electric Boogaloo,
So good.
and all of the weirdest sci-fi and horror schlock of the 80s and 90s.
The documentary about Canon Pictures is quite good.
Electric Boogaloo, yes,
Yeah,
very, very good.
yeah.
Which I like talking about them because it straddles the line of the two halves of my critic personality, which is the half of me that loves terrible things and the half of me that loves really good stuff. And this is.
Oh, I'm
that half.
exactly with you that way too. So. Like, what I think is weird is this movie should be called President Tom the movie, because President Tom is the man. Like, he's fighting for the environment, he punches out Nazis, he's willing to kill himself to not, like, have the country be hurt. Like, he's way more of a hero and role model than Captain America, who smokes, looks like John Arbuckle, like, pretends to get sick and then steals cars twice. Like, it's
Yes.
just like...
Which
like,
is the greatest. They do reference that in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Where did Captain America learn how to steal a car?
Oh, I didn't realize that's what the line was from.
I haven't watched the commentary, so I can't confirm it. But I'm 90% certain that they included that just because they could.
Because the line just made sense to be like, oh, he's so wholesome, but like that's a cool throwback if that's what they were doing. Nice.
I mean, I'm sure the Russo brothers have watched this.
Oh, yeah. Like, I didn't realize he had fake ears, too. Like, I saw the CinemaSins on this, and they said the ears on his thing are actually, like, fake. They're rubber. Like,
Yeah.
and they could have just cut holes in it. Like, they would have been way better. Like, why did they? Such an odd choice. Like,
This came out the year after Batman '89, so it was so bizarre to like. Obviously, Canon's just like, Batman's big right now. What do we got? And Marvel's just like, well, we'll sell it to Canon Films for like nothing.
well, the movie reminds me of The Room because, like, they just keep jumping through different time and locations and characters with no setup. Like, when we first meet President Tom as a kid, he's just like, I'm gonna go leave my house and go see the White House. He's like, who's this kid? And then, like
he's being conscripted into a government project for some reason.
Oh, yeah, and, like, Sharon looks like Lisa from The Room.
I will say, they don't skirt over the weird aspect that Captain America ends up dating his girlfriend's daughter.
Yeah.
Which is the weird thing from the comics, because you can tell it's just an anachronism of they didn't think about it. But in the comics, he dates Agent Carter, and then he dates Sharon Carter, her daughter. Or
Well,
niece.
it's niece in the comics and daughter in this, but yeah, same kind of idea. That's weird.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. It's like incestuous. And this one, it makes it super weird because it's daughter.
Well, and that you have like the father still around to just be like sitting there awkwardly, like, here's my unfrozen boyfriend from decades ago that like I only settled for you, and it's just like, oh, this is weird. Like,
oh gosh.
and then why did they make the Red Skull Italian and sympathetic, like with like his sympathetic backstory? I mean,
the first scene in the movie is probably the best scene in the movie because it's they kidnap Red Skull from this Italian village, and he's playing the piano. For some reason, they're recording it because this ends up coming into play later in the plot.
well, it's his Rosebud, right? Like basically.
Yeah, I guess he just they kidnap him, turn him into a science experiment, and he launches Captain America on a rocket to hit the White House.
But the other thing would be, why did they pick a child? If Hydra wants to make their own super soldier, why wouldn't they just pick like an already like in their high command soldier to make awesome? Why did they pick a random child who plays the piano?
Maybe just because they didn't want to experiment on one of their own citizens. I don't know.
They mentioned the kid's
This
smart.
is a canon
but,
movie.
Like, I just couldn't get over that because I'm just like, the only thing it pays off is that like he wouldn't be as old because he would like, you know, with the time jump. That if you start with a child, though he becomes a man when he gets experimented on, so it also just kind of throws it.
Yeah.
And he's a businessman too. It's just.
And I'm pretty sure that's the in the future version of him, but he's no longer red. Is it the future version?
Well, yeah, well, he's kind of like muted his like skull thing with like makeup to be like more pinkish skull.
That's
like,
so
or,
weird.
Like, yeah, like. Oh, also, you find out the evil thing that like he was behind Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassinations between now and then, and it's just like, what? Like that got like dark and messed up. I mean, he's an evil guy, so it fits his character, but it's just like, whoa, that's like hitting close to home with like real, you know.
From the acclaimed director of Cyborg. But yeah, that's what you get.
But, oh, like. Oh, did you see at the end of this that it actually tells you to vote for the Environmental Protection Agency Act? It was just like the Dockers thing at the end of Mystery Men, but they're like, oh, hey, support the Environmental Protection Act of 1990. I'm like, good on you, movie. You have
This
some
is
good morals.
Miami Connection levels of pretentious at the final shot.
And also, why does a military general care about it? Like, I know he's with the evil group, but before you know that, President Tom is talking about it to a general, and the military general was like against it. It's like, that's not in his purview. Like, it's not like he's saying, I'm taking money from your budget of like supplying the military with this. It's just like, it seemed like a weird, I guess probably just they don't have as many actors to hire that they just had him, you know.
Lest we also forget that the president sees Captain America on the missile and photographs him as he's approaching the White House, just as Captain America kicks the fin of the rocket and avoids hitting the White House.
And
Did I mention this movie is dumb?
The best actor is Ned Beatty, though, beside President Tom, who's his best friend. Isn't he like a Nobel Pulitzer Prize winning, like, the best reporter ever, basically? And they're like, their best friends, like, I'll be the best reporter, you be the president. Yeah, like.
Yeah. Did I also mention that I happen to like this movie quite a bit?
No, there's a lot of cheesy goodness in it. Like,
Oh, this is
Captain
great.
America gets shot a lot. Like they give him no training, and so he keeps getting shot, and I'm just like, what? Like, besides pretending to throw up and smoking, he gets shot. And it just seems like Marvel signed off on this. Like, wouldn't they want? I mean, even low budget, wouldn't they want their hero to look heroic?
Lest we forget, there was a previous version of Captain America in the 70s for 2 made-for-TV movies who wore a motorcycle helmet, which is obviously the superior version.
I like this costume with the rubber ears on the side of his face.
Oh, it looks fine for a B-movie superhero. But
This at least looks like decent cosplay. You know what I'm saying? This at least does look like, the other one seems off base that you didn't know what you were doing.
the shield looks like it was bought at Walmart.
Yeah.
And it makes even less sense physics-wise in the movie. Like, he throws it at the tower at one point,
Yeah.
and it comes back at a completely different angle for some reason.
Again, President Tom throws the shield cooler than him. Like, again, I can't say it's President Tom the movie. That guy's a badass.
Oh my gosh. What else do you? What else is there to say about this?
Trying to think, again, just the setups. They just jump country to country, location to location with no provocation. They're like, oh yeah, it's decades later, now we're at a diner. Or like, oh no, now we're in Canada. It's like, oh, no,
It's
no,
in
Alaska.
color.
Alaska. And then like, oh no, it goes to Alaska when he wakes up.
Yes.
Then he steals the car and ends up in Canada. And you're like,
Oh,
wait, what?
but we're also forgetting the best scene in the movie where he's confused running around, and all of a sudden two teenagers walk up to him and be like, hey, want to smoke? And they're just like 80s kids. And the next shot is just him running away. Young people.
Yeah, it was like a poor man's version of the Star Trek 4 scene on the with Spock and the punk rock kids.
Yeah, and then everyone on the bus clapped.
Ooh, there was one thing I wanted to give the movie credit for. Like, they foreshadow when the Red Skull is talking to Captain America before he launches him on the rocket. He talks about wanting to be the president, which actually does foreshadow him wanting to brainwash the president.
It doesn't make a good storytelling.
No, but I'm just saying, you pick your battles where you can. Like, the movie actually had some competent foreshadowing.
Is that foreshadowing? That's
like overt.
text. That's not subtext, that's text. This character will be important later.
Instead of subliminal, it's liminal. It's like, hey, pay attention. Like,
Subliminal, liminal, and superliminal, as the Simpsons put it.
Exactly.
What is superliminal? You go out to the window and yell it. This character is going to be important later.
unlike most everything else, where you're just like, who are these people? What are they doing?
Can you pull over? I'm gonna be sick. Yeah. And he steals the car. Yeah. From the elderly and then from his girlfriend.
Like, a lot of people get murdered in this too, which was, again, I thought was weird for Marvel.
I mean, people get murdered in the good Captain America.
I know, but just
which I appreciate.
I just mean the way it happens of just I guess maybe it's just the way they shot that it's just pun intended, I guess. I mean, it's not as high caliber. Huh? Hey-o.
That was a bad pun, and I'm gonna hit you with the chicken if I can reach him. I can't reach the chicken, so that's not happening.
Ha! The framing works to my advantage.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't be called a Svengoolie ripoff today. So, but
I was trying to think. I think that was most of the points I had about the movie. He does a couple good flips, I guess, like in the end battle when he's trying to stop. Oh, Red Skull pulls out a piano to play before he wants to end the world, which I thought was pretty cool. That's a kind of cool classic supervillain move to. And again, it ties back to his Rosebud, and then they play the tape recorder of this is when you were innocent, and here's the music that you played before you were turned into villainy.
How did they get the tape recorder back logistically after 40? I mean, how would you any other situation other than this? Why would this tape recorder happen to capture the one moment that's vital to understanding Red Skull's life, and how would you get it to him at the exact moment when it plays a part in the story? I broke
Convenience.
him. I broke him. Congratulations.
Yeah, plot convenience, basically.
It makes it better that way.
Yeah. But I'm not trying to think of anything else that's I mean, it is a fun movie, but there's not much meat on the bones to really artistically pick apart.
I think it's a fascinating relic with just weird things happening in it.
Oh yeah, you definitely, if you know it's like what you're getting into, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch this along the same reason I'd watch like Roger Corman's Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I would watch this again. Like, so I am glad it's in my collection. It's in my wheelhouse. Like,
Yeah. That's all the time we have for this episode of the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
no problem. Have a good free comic book day, internet.
Yep, you can follow me on Twitter at @antisocialcritic. That's that's critic without the C at the end. You can find more of my written reviews at theantisocialcritic.tumblr.com and Geeks Under Grace, and you can find past recordings of the show at the Gripping Productions YouTube page. Have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your comics.